can one of the world's largest oil producers still need to import petrol for 50 years? That exact contradiction defined Nigeria's relationship with its own oil. Nigeria found the oil, pumped it, sold it, made billions. And yet Nigeria still imported the petrol, diesel, and jet fuel its own people needed most. This was the paradox that cost the country billions, exporting crude oil every single day, while importing refined products every single day right back. Extract the crude, export it raw, import the finished product. Spend even more. Nigeria sat on gold and still bought back its own basic needs. For over 50 years, Nigeria exported crude oil, earning the world its energy, while earning itself billions of dollars in revenue. But those same billions in exports came with an equally large bill, billions spent importing the refined fuel the country never processed at home. For millions of ordinary Nigerians, that contradiction wasn't abstract. It meant long queues, empty stations, and frustration that became a daily reality. Petrol queues stretched for hours. Signs reading "No petrol" became painfully familiar in a country that exported oil to the entire world. This wasn't a shortage of oil. Nigeria had plenty. It was a shortage of the one thing that turns crude into usable fuel: refining capacity at home. Colonial-era economics had left much of Africa exporting raw materials cheap and importing finished products at a markup. Nigeria's oil was no exception. The Dangote refinery was built specifically to break that pattern, refine Nigeria's own crude on Nigerian soil instead of shipping it elsewhere. It was an enormous bet, over $20 billion, invested in a refinery large enough to change 50 years of dependency in a single stroke. Towers rose from swampland outside Lagos. Despite delays, skepticism, and enormous technical complexity, steel piece by steel piece, the result, one of the largest single-train refineries ever built, anywhere lit up on the Lagos coastline. As living proof, the bet had paid off. For the first time, the barrel that once left Nigeria as crude oil could now leave already refined, keeping value inside the country that produced it. This marks a new chapter for Nigeria, refining its own fuel, supplying its own people, and finally beginning to export value instead of just raw crude. 650,000 barrels refined daily, billions saved in imports. One refinery quietly ending one of the strangest contradictions in the world. If you'd like to understand how one African entrepreneur challenged centuries of economic dependency, read my book, Dangote Refinery: How One African Refinery Broke the Raw Material Trap and Saved the World. Available now on Amazon.